Hey there, everybody, welcome to Manic Monday, and we are in the 1977 Chicago White Sox replay. Game number 98 is coming up against the Kansas City Royals. But first, a recap from the last video that was done, which was game 93, where Chicago went into Boston and beat the Red Sox by the score of 4-0 as Francisco Barrios bested Ferguson Jenkins. However, in game 94, the Red Sox got their revenge. Louis Tiant actually pitched a 4-hit shutout, and the Red Sox piled on 6 runs in the 6th against Steve Stone in the bullpen. And that was pretty much all she wrote. Forgot to put the 0 in here. Should have. Make that official. 9-0 to score in game 91. I'm sorry, game 94. Game 95 took us back to the friendly confines of Comiskey Park against the Tigers, a quick 2-game set, and in 11 innings, the White Sox win it on a walk-off home run by Jim Spencer in the bottom of the 11th off of Jim Crawford, as they defeat the Tigers by the score of 4-3. That was a little glitch here. I put a 0 here by mistake when Richie Zisk hit his home run in the second inning, so that's why that run is there. So 2 home runs for the Southside Hitmen helped him get that victory over the Tigers. That raised the White Sox record at that point to 53-42 after 95 games. We go to game 96, also against the Tigers. It was Fernando Arroyo against Wilbur Wood, and the Sox hung on for a 5-3 victory despite leaving 12 runners on base. Got a key home run from Oscar Gamble in the 6th inning that put them ahead. They were down 2-1, but Oscar Gamble tied it at 2 on the home run, and then Ralph Garr got an RBI single to drive in Lemon, and that actually chased Arroyo at that point. Then they added 2 more in the 7th for good measure, and they needed it because Detroit came back with a run in the 8th. And the Sox won it 5-3 to improve to 54-42. Then we move on to the series we're at now. Game number, I hit my games? Yeah, game number 97. And that was first game of the Kansas City series, and it was Chicago behind Ken Kravick, who has just been their ace. He went 7 1/3 innings, shutting down the powerful Royal lineup, and they got to Andy Hassler early and often, particularly here in the 5th. Home run again by Richie Zisk in front of an error on Patek. So the Sox win that one 8-1, and that takes us to game number 58. The Sox are 55-42. And they're chasing the Royals and the Rangers. And let's see, the Royals are 57-39. So 3.5 games back of the Royals, but Texas is actually in the lead of the division by 4.5. So important games, to say the least. After this game, there will be a doubleheader against Kansas City that I'll play offline. And then we move on, and Texas will come to town. So very important series there against the first place Rangers. Let's look at the starting lineups for today's game. First, for the Royals, it'll be George Brett at third, Hal McRae in left, Pete Lecoq DH, Al Cowens in right, John Mayberry at first, Amos Otis in center, Darrell Porter catching, Freddie Patek at short, and Frank White at second, with the left-hander Paul Splittorff on the mound. For the White Sox, it'll be Garr in left, Bannister at short, Orta at second, Zisk in right, Johnson the DH in place of Oscar Gamble because of the lefty on the mound, Jim Spencer at first, Chet Lemon in center, Soderholm at third, and Brian Downing doing the catching of Francisco Barrios. So, game 98 is upon us. We're whittling it down. Once we get past the 100 mark, I feel like I'm on the home stretch. So, here we go. Francisco Barrios is going to be out there, and he will be facing the leadoff man, George Brett. Kind of interesting they have George Brett leading off. You would think Patek, I think later on, became the leadoff man, but as of right now, in this part of the season, it is strictly Freddie Patek. I'm sorry, George Brett. So here we go. George Brett against Barrios. Game 98 now underway. It was played July 30th, 1977. 4-10 against the lefty for Barrios, and that's a fly to center. So nice play there. Retired the tough Brett as Lemon makes the catch. One away for Hal McRae, who is playing left field, so he's only a 4 E17. He's usually a DH, but this game he's playing left field. 5-8. 5-8. He's going to fly to center. So Lemon gets another chance. Hauls it in. 2 up, 2 down. And that will bring up Pete Lecoq, the designated hitter. 4-7, 4-7. A 1-7 is a single. 8-20. He will line it to George Orta. And that's a 1, so it's a base hit. Pete Lecoq snuck it by Orta. He's a D-stealer. He will not be held. And that brings up Al Cowens, right fielder, cleanup man. 1-11. That's a home run chance. 1-15. And a 16-20 is a fly to right. So 1-15, and Al Cowens has a 2-run homer to his credit. And he does. Al Cowens goes deep. Not a good start for Barrios. All this with 2 outs and the base is clear. A 2-run homer by Cowens makes it 2-0 Royals. And he's not out of the woods yet because now you got John Mayberry. Definitely not an easy go of it. 1-5, he will walk. And again, the Tabletop Earl adage of the most likely result after a home run is a walk comes up right there. Mayberry is an E-stealer. He will not be held. So we got AO, Amos Otis. 5-9, 5-9. That's an in-home run chance. He does have normal power. It's only 1-4. 5-20, Ralph Garr will chase it down. 1-4, it's out of here. 7, so Ralph Garr makes the play. Innings over, but the Royals pick up 2 on that 2-run dinger by Al Cowens. Go to the bottom of the first. It's the Royals 2, White Sox coming to bat. So Paul Splittorff gets the early lead to work with. Here's Ralph Garr leading things off, lefty against lefty. 3-3 for Garr, and that's going to be a leadoff walk. How about that? Good way to start if you're the Sox. Get that base runner on. He is a C-stealer, so he will be held. Let's check the catcher throw rating for Porter. He's a -1, so they're not going to take a chance with their big bats. They're not going to be looking to do anything. However, Bannister is a hit-and-run B, so we're going to make him a hit-and-run A because the runner's being held. His hit-and-run quality will now go to a A. So I need to go to the super advanced hit-and-run chart because I am doing the... Actually, you know what? We're doing advanced, so I'm going to stick to the advanced hit-and-run chart. My bad. Advanced hit-and-run chart. And he's going to be an A, so we just need the 2d6s. Roll a 6. So an A, ground out second baseman, runners advance 1 base. So that works. Moves the runner up. Avoids the double play. Puts Garr in scoring position with 1 away. And he's still being held as a C-stealer. Try to keep him from getting a big jump to score on a base hit. Here's Orta. 5-7, 5-7. Ground ball, second base X. Now this shortstop is responsible for holding the runner on second, so this second base X is not going to affect the range of the second baseman. Second baseman is Frank White, and his error rating and range is 1E10. 1 and a 14. 1 and a 14 is a G1, and that's an 8. On an E10, there is no 8. So it's simply a ground ball to second. So Garr will move to third with 2 outs. But now it's going to take a base hit from Richie Zisk to get the Sox on the board. Zisk needs a clutch hit. 4-7, and he got it. 4-7 is a single right there. So Richie Zisk comes through. Clutch single, cuts the lead to 2-1. Get that 0 off the board. Zisk is an E-stealer. He will not be held. Lamar Johnson, the DH. 5-6. That's another single to center field. Now, since Zisk wasn't held, he might be able to take third, but AO's got a great arm. Amos Otis, I do believe. Otis, my man, has a -4 arm, so that would certainly cut into it. Let's check the run rating. Zisk is an 11. He was not being held, makes him a 12. There are 2 outs, makes him a 14. But then the -4 makes it a 10. So it's a 50-50 shot. He's already in scoring position, so we're just going to hold him at second base and give Big Jim Spencer a chance to knock him in. And it's Big Jim Spencer. 4-7, and that's a 1-18 single. Only 1 star, unfortunately, so maybe we should have taken the chance. I don't know, but it's a 50-50 shot. But it's a 1 star on a 1-18, and that's just going to load the bases. So maybe a little bit too cautious on the base paths, but I really wanted to give Jim Spencer the shot. He got the hit, but it's not the big hit. It's a single. It's going to load the bases. So Chet Lemon, it's up to him. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 6-8. 6-8 struck him out. So Chet Lemon fails in the clutch. Sox do at least pick up the 1 run to get off the schneid. But after 1 inning, it's Kansas City 2, Chicago 1. White Sox have to feel like they left something on the base paths in that one. Might come back to bite them. Top of the second we go, Darryl Porter. 4-5, it's a strikeout. So Barrios bearing down with the strikeout. 1 away for Freddie Patek. 4-4, that's a ground ball third base X. That is Soderholm. He's a 2E11. 2-18, he'll get to that. Now the question is the error. It's a 16. E11 and a 16. There is a 16. It's a 2-base error. So a 2-base error on Soderholm. Get those high D6s on the error check, and that's what happens. A 2-base error on Soderholm. And instead of 2 outs and the base is empty, the Royals have something cooking here in the second. Patek obviously going to be held. He's a not a double-A stealer, but he is a double-A stealer, but he runs as a 17 as well, so they're definitely holding him on. Here's Frank White, number 9 hitter. 5-7, and that struck him out. So big strikeout there for Barrios. But now you got to deal with George Brett. Now you could walk Brett, but then you got to deal with McRae. So which do you choose? McRae hit 298 on the season. Brett hit 312. So we're going to walk George Brett. Just playing their percentages. And intentionally walk Brett and take our chances with McRae. At least it's a righty-on-righty matchup. And McRae was less than a 300 hitter. Here we go. 3-6 for McRae. 1-9 is a double. 10-20, he flies to Zisk. It's a 5, so he couldn't get to it. It's going to be a double. And maybe walking Brett was not the right move. Patek's going to score for sure. Brett was not being held as a trail runner. So he's a 15 already, comes with 16. With 2 outs becomes an 18. Zisk has a 0 arm. So 1-18. And he's in there. So he will score. 2-run double off the bat of Hal McRae. And again, all this with 2 outs. And that error opened the door for everything. All these runs are unearned. Both those runs are unearned. But the Royals will take them. It is 3-1 ball game. Or actually 4-1 ball game. Here's Lecoq. 3-4. Ground ball to the pitcher, Barrios, to end the inning. But those 2 runs unearned. And the Royals now lead it 4-1. It's not looking good for the Southside Hitmen, especially against a tough lefty like Splittorff. So here's Soderholm. He had the error. He's going to see if he can make up for it. 3-4 against a lefty. He draws a leadoff walk. So second leadoff walk in as many innings. He's a D-stealer. He will not be held. And Brian Downey, the catcher. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. A lot of walks there, but he found the 3-7 strikeout result. 1 down, and that's going to bring up Ralph Garr. Ralphie from Christmas Story. 6-8, lefty on lefty, struck him out. Ralphie shot his eye out on that one. 2 down, and it's going to bring up Alan Bannister. 2-7 for Bannister. He flies to center, and that's the end of the inning. Nothing doing for the Southside Hitmen after 2 complete. It's Kansas City 4 and Chicago 1. Barrios back out, hoping to get better defense. Here's Cowens, who had that big home run last time. 1-6. He's going to get another big hit. 1-10 is a double. 11-20 is a single. That's a double for Al Cowens to lead things off. He's got a homer and a double. Halfway to the cycle. Although he did hit 14 triples on the year, so he's definitely a cycle candidate. As for being held, Cowens is a B-stealer, so he will be held. That responsibility lies on the shortstop, Bannister. Here's Mayberry, 3-4, and that's a fly ball right field question mark B, so chance for the runner to move up. There is an out there. Zisk has a 0 arm. Cowens is a 16. You add 2 to that, make it 18. So 1-18, he gets to third. 19, he holds. 20, he's out. He will make it to third. So he advances to third. And with one out, the infield's going to have to come in to face Amos Otis. So the infield is in. Barrios can use a strikeout. 4-6, and he gets it right on cue. 4-6. Struck him out. Infield can go back to normal with 2 outs. But this is where the damage has been done by Kansas City. The first 2 innings is with 2 outs. So here's Porter. 6-5. Ground ball shortstop X. That could be trouble because that's Bannister. And Bannister, not known as a great fielder, obviously. He is a 4, E48. So both his range and his error are in jeopardy. 4 and an 8. 4 and an 8 is a G3. That's a 15. E48, 15 is a 1-base error. So 1-base error is going to cause Cowens to come in to score another unearned run. So it wasn't E6 on that one, E5 previous inning. Another unearned run against Barrios. It is now 5-1 Royals. Porter is at first. He will not be held. Here's Patek. 3-4. That's a single to left field. That'll put runners at first and second. Porter's not going to even think about going to third on the ball hit to left field. So runners at first and second. Nobody's being held. Here's Frank White. 3-9 for White. Ground ball to second. Porter's got that one. Inning's over. But another run hits the board. It's unearned. 3 unearned runs. 3 of the 5 are unearned, thanks to 2 White Sox errors. So Barrios not getting help from his teammates in this one. And they haven't given him the run support either. So here's Orta. Could be a long day. 2-7 for Orta, and but it will be a leadoff single. So George Orta is aboard. He's a D stealer. He will not be held. I'm only holding C and above. Here's Richie Zisk. 5-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Patek. Patek is a defender. He's got an E rating of 2 and a range of 32. Or, I'm sorry, range of 2 and an E rating of 32. So a 2E32. 2 and 8, he will make that. We'll get to that no problem as a G2, which is a fielder's choice. That is a 13 as an E32. E32. A 13 is a 1-base error. So how about that? Turnabout's fair play. An E6 on Patek. Puts runners at first and second. And now Splittorf can grumble about his defense. Here's Lamar Johnson. 2 outs, nobody on. 6-8 is a strikeout. So Splittorf says if they can't field it for me, I'll just do it myself with a strikeout. 1 down for Big Jim Spencer. 2-5 for Spencer. Ground ball second base. Hey, that's a double play. 4-6-3. That's just the kind of day it's been for the Sox. They get a break and can't take advantage. So we go to the 4th. 5-1 favor of Kansas City as the Royals seemingly are in control. Barrios isn't pitching that badly. It's just his defense is awful. And he's had to face the brunt of that. And here's Brett, top of the order. 6-7. Ground ball second base X. That's Orta. He's a 4. E23. And remember, 11 is the only 1-base error he can have. Is if the D6s are an 11. So as long as the D6s are not 11 or 17, he's fine. That's a 7. He'll make that play easily. 4 and a number 6, I believe, is still good enough to... No, you know what? 4 and a 6 is an S1. That's a base hit. SI1. So we worried about his error so much he didn't get the range. So George Brett is on, and he will be held because he's a C stealer. And that responsibility is by the shortstop Bannister because McRae... I'm sorry, by the second baseman Orta because McRae's a righty. Here's McRae, 6-8. Pop out to short. 1 away. So 1 down for Pete Lecoq. Pete Lecoq. 4-6. Fly to center. That's 2 down. So this is where all the trouble usually comes in. It's the 2 down. And plus you got Al Cowens who's homered and doubled. First base is open. But really, if you walk him, you got John Mayberry to deal with. So pick your poison. They'll go ahead, and the last time we did intentional walk, it didn't work. So we're going to go ahead and pitch to Cowens. 2-12, and it works this time. Ground ball to third to end the inning. So finally, Barrios is able to put a 0 on the board against the Royals. It's still 5-1. Splittorff back out, and his fatigue is a 6, so he's still in good shape. Chet Lemon will lead things off. 2-11, a low max, line out to short max, but nobody's on base, so it's just a liner right to Patek, 1 away. Brings up Eric Soderholm. 1-4, ground ball back to Splittorff, so Southside hit in a little bit befuddled apparently by these Splittorff offerings. Here's Downing. 5-7 against a righty. Ground ball second base X. That's Frank White. Frank White's defense checks in at a 1 E10. So we don't even need the D20 because you know he's going to get to it. Just checking the error. E10 and a 14. E10 and a 14. There's a 16 and a 17, but no 14. So it's good play by Frank White. And the inning is over. So we go to the 5th. Still 5-1 Royals. And Barrios back out to face John Mayberry. We've held in check so far, a walk and a fly to right. But that can change. 4-3, ground ball back to the pitcher. Pitcher X, 3 E12 for Barrios. He's a 3 E12. 3 and a 4 is probably going to be a base hit. Check that for sure. 3 and a 4 against the pitcher is an SI1. No, check that. 3 and a 4 against the pitcher is a G3. So he did get to it. It's a 9 and he's an E12. E12, there is no 9, so it's good play for Barrios. Used all the range he had to make that one, but it was good enough to get the out. And here's AO, Amos Otis. Slide to left and struck out. 6-6. He will line it right to Soderholm at third base for out number 2. And that's going to bring up Darrell Porter. Porter struck out and reached on an error. 4-6. He's going to fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So maybe Barrios is settling in, but could be too little too late unless the hitmen start hitting. Bottom of the 5th we go. Ralph Garr, the batter. Walked and struck out. 3-6. This time he'll get a base hit. 1-7 is a double. 8-20 is a single. That's a double for Ralph Garr. So Ralphie boy with the leadoff double. He will be held because he's a C stealer, so he will be held. That brings up Bannister. So the hold guy is Frank White, second baseman. 1-9 for Bannister against the lefty. Ground ball shortstop A, so that means the runner's going to have to hold. The ball hit in front of him. Now let me double check that. I'm just going by what seems to be right, but I'm going to check my ground outs right here. Infield back, ground ball A, runner on second is a 6. 6 says if hit to first or second, runner advance, otherwise he holds. So that's what I was playing, and that's the way it turned out. So 1 away for George Orta. Now Patek's the hold man. 3-7 against a lefty. Fly to center, that's 2 down. So 2 away for Richie Zisk. Richie Zisk. 6-8 against a right-hander, struck him out. So Splittorff cruising through 5. We go to the 6th here in Chicago, and it is still 5-1 Royals. Here's Francisco Barrios back out to face Freddie Patek. 2-7 for Patek. 1-11 is a single. 12-20 he lines to Orta. And that's a base hit for Patek, and that's dangerous. He's a double-A stealer. He's looking to run. So as a double-A stealer in the advanced game, he starts out as a 17. But let's look at the catcher rating for Downing. Ryan Downing, his catcher rating is a +2 arm. So not good at all on a +2 arm. So let's see here what the hold rating is. I think it's just a -2. It's been playing all these different games, so sometimes you forget the simple things. So let's look at the advanced base stealing. See if I can find it in the rule book here. All right, let's see here. Okay, that's the basic. Now where is the advanced? All right. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here. I've been playing this game for years. You would think I wouldn't be drawing a blank, but sometimes it happens. Okay, here we go. That's what I was looking for. Right in here. Double A steal is a -2, which is what I thought. All right, so a -2, but downing again is a +2, so that kind of, those cancel each other out. So when you cancel them out, you're looking at a 1 to 17. So of course he's going to go. To 7, he's in there. Stolen base. Stolen base for Patek. So he's on second base. He will be held. And Frank White, the batter. Frank White. 1-6 for White, struck him out. Barrios needed that. One away, but now we're back to the top of the order, and George Brett. Brett has singled, flown to center, and drawn an intentional walk. 6-4, ground ball shortstop X. That again is Bannister, a 4E48. And let's see, runner's on second. He was being held, so that's going to knock him down by 1 range because the shortstop was responsible for the hold. So that's going to knock him down to a 5. He was a 4, he's now a 5. So it's a 5E48. 4 doesn't matter. He's going to be a base hit anyway. SI2 anyway, and that's going to score the run. Now it's got to check and make sure there's no error on the base hit by Brett. Now that's a 16 E48. It's a 2-base error on Bannister. So when it rains, it pours. So the second error of the game on Bannister. Brett will take third on the E6. And it is now 6-1 Royals. Infield's going to have to come in with 1 out for Hal McRae. Infield is in. 110. 110 is a fly ball. Right field B question mark. That's a chance for a sac fly. So let's check. The Zisk is a 0. We know that. And Brett is a 15. Add 2 to that. Makes it a 17. So 1 to 17. He's going to make it. Anything else, he'll be out. It's a 6. He made it. Sacrifice fly to right field. And that error definitely cost him a run there. It is now 7-1. 2 outs, base is empty, and that's going to be all for, well, Barrios will go ahead and finish the inning. Try to get that last out. 1-5 for Lukaku, grounds to short. That's going to end the inning. That's going to be it for Barrios. So far cry from his previous outing. But in all fairness to him, his defense did not help him. So 6 innings pitched for Barrios. He faced 30 batters. Let's check his hits and runs. Let's see if that's an unearned run for sure. And we know that's an unearned run because of the error. These 2 are unearned runs. So we had 4 unearned runs. 7 runs and only 3 are earned. 7 runs, 3 were earned. He did give up a home run. Let's check his hits allowed and walks and strikeouts. Walked 1 here, that was intentional. Walked another here, that's 2. Let's see, is that it? Just the 2. 2 walks, and 1 was intentional. Strikeouts, not that many. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got in for 4. And base hits, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. All right, so that's the dirty line on Barrios. 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 7 runs, 3 were earned, 1 home run allowed, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And most likely we'll take the loss unless there's a miracle comeback. So now, benefiting from all this pleasantry is Paul Splittorff. So, and we got to get a new pitcher for the White Sox. I think it's going to be Jack Cusick. He's like their mop-up guy, long reliever mop-up guy. So he will be coming in for Barrios. But right now we have Splittorff facing Lamar Johnson. Can the hitman get some runs going here? 1-3. Ground ball A. When I'm playing the advanced, I'm not doing the triangles, so I'm not going to be flipping down to here, it's going to be sticking with the original result, which is a ground ball to first. Handled by Mr. Mayberry. One away for Jim Spencer. 5-2, and that's a fly to right. I'm sorry, fly to center. 2 down. So Splittorf just cruising here with that big lead. Just put it in there, let him put the ball in play. Here's Lemon. 2-7 for Lemon. A 1-5 is a single. 6-20. Brett will get it and throw to Mayberry. And it's a base hit. It snuck by him. So a 2-out single for Chet Lemon. He's a C stealer, and I would normally hold him, but on an 8-1 game or a 7-1 game, we're not gonna hold him. He's definitely not gonna try to steal. So here's Soderholm. 3-7 is a single to right field. That will probably allow Lemon to get to third, especially since he wasn't being held. He's a 14, was not being held, makes him a 15. There are 2 outs, makes him a 17. Cowens is a -4 arm though, drops it down to a 13. So do you want to take the chance is the question. Well, it's a tough one. Down 7-1, you just can't afford to get thrown out. So they're going to actually hold him there because of Cowens' arm. So Cowens deters the advancement. It's going to be up to Brian Downing. 3-5 for Downing. He's going to walk, and that's going to load the bases. So it didn't matter that I didn't send him because he would be over there anyway now. He's going to get there anyway and would have had to stay there on a walk. So it really didn't hurt anything. Now what did happen is that Splittorf now has reached his point of weakness because he has given up 3 hits on his point of weakness inning, or 3 base runners. So he is now officially tired. So anything in the dots against a lefty, if he gets a 4-9 or a 6-8, those will turn to base hits. But they're going to take the chance and pitch him to Ralph Garr. 3-5 run to Garr anyway, but that was bad news. 1-10 is a triple. 11-20 is a single, and that's probably going to be all for Splittorf. It's an 8, so it's a triple. A bases loaded, bases clearing triple by Ralph Garr. So he's doubled, and now he's tripled. All 3 runs will come across the plate. And all of a sudden, we got a ball game again. It is now 7-4. So the White Sox are right back in this thing. And Splittorf is not going to be right back in this thing. He is out of there. And Doug Bird, the right-hander, is going to be coming on for the Royals. They thought they'd get more innings out of Splittorf, but not when this eruption of runs comes in. So he pitches 5 2/3. Still can qualify for the win, obviously. 28 batters faced. Let's see. Can't do the runs because Garr is still his responsibility. Let's see here how many hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. We can do that. No homers, we know that. No wild pitches, no hit batters, no balks. Walks and strikeouts. 1 walk, 2 walks, 3 walks. So 3 walks. Check his strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 strikeouts. So we'll figure out because Garr is his responsibility. So if Garr doesn't score, then we can close the book. Well, either way, you can close the book on Splittorf after this inning is over. Here's Bannister. 6-7. It's a ground ball, second base X. That is Frank White. He's a 1 E10. Since there's 2 outs, we don't have to worry about range. We're just going for the error check on the E10. That's an 8. E10 and an 8 is a good play. So Frank White makes the play. Inning is over. But 3 runs come across to cut the lead to 7-4. We now close the book on Splittorf. He gives up 4 runs, all earned. So the final line on Splittorf: 5 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Walked 3, struck out 5, and does stand to be the winner. So now Bannister is out, and that will take us to the top of the 7th. Now we might do a different pitcher now because since it's not a blowout anymore, we don't want to use our mop-up guy. We want a guy that's actually going to get somebody out. So they're going to move from Cusick and turn to, well, you know what? I think they're going to stick with Cusick because Kirkwood's definitely not any better. So they'll go ahead and stick with Cusick. And now he's got to face Al Cowens, who's already homered and doubled in this game. So nice way to get your feet wet in this ball game. 6-5 is a fly to right, so he took care of Al Cowens. One away, and that brings up John Mayberry. 4-11 against the right-hander, against the left-hander rather. 1-16 is a home run, so that could be trouble right there. 1-16 is a home run for John Mayberry. And he got it right on the button. A 16. Of course, we're not doing super advanced. We're not robbing home runs. So that will be a home run for John Mayberry. And that kind of brings the momentum back to the Royals a little bit. It is now 8-4. And here's Amos Otis. Otis, my man. 5-5 for Cusick. It's a strikeout. So Cusick didn't walk the next batter after a home run. This time he struck him out. So he got mad and struck him out. Otis has gone 2 down, and that brings up Darryl Porter. And we get a 5-3. 5-3 against a left-hander. Fly ball right field X. That's Richie Zisk. 4-6. So low error, but low range. 4-18, he'll get to that, and that's a 10. So I think E6 and a 10 will be just fine. E6, there is no 10, so Zisk was able to get to that, no problem, to retire the side. But the John Mayberry homer has put the Royals up by the score of now 8-4 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. And here at Comiskey, you know what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and let you analyze the score sheet as we listen to Harry. Right, Tabby has decided to invade temporarily, so let's get her down. She was kind of making some noise there, so I wanted to do something just to appease her, and hopefully that will keep her quiet the rest of the game. So let's see if Harry can bring about a sense of rally for the White Sox. Sometimes it works, most times it doesn't, but sometimes it works. So George Orta will lead things off here in the bottom of the 7th. 1-8. All these hits in column 1, and he found his line out to short. So not good karma there from Mr. Carey. 1 away as he lines to Patek. That'll bring up Richie Zisk. 4-9 against Bird. That's a good shot. 1-4 is a triple. 5-20 is a double. That's a double for Richie Zisk. So a 1-out double for Zisk. Sox have some light here. Lamar Johnson is due up. He's going to be called back because Oscar Gamble, now that the righty's on the mound, Oscar Gamble, the normal DH, is going to come right in and take his spot. So Oscar Gamble will get a chance here. And the runner Zisk obviously not being held. 5-7 is struck him out, so it didn't matter. The righty or lefty both would have struck out on a 5-7 result, so it did not matter. 2 down, and here's Big Jim Spencer. He's got a good chance to try to drive a run home. Get the Sox closer. 2-12, though, is a hit by pitch. So he gets plunked. Bird plunked him. And now 2 are on with 2 outs for Chet Lemon. Chance for Chet Lemon to do something. 4-12, ground ball first base X. That's Mayberry. And John Mayberry, defensively, for the Royals, checks in at a 2-8. So pretty good defender. 2-18, he'll get to that, and that's a 10. I believe that's pretty safe. And it is, so Mayberry will take it to the bag himself and end the inning. So the rally cry of Harry Carey did not help the Sox. They got him a couple base runners, but that was about it. And once again, Chet Lemon comes up like he did in the first inning. He left the bases loaded in the first. Now he's leaving 2 on here, so he's left 5 runners on when he's been at the plate. So not a good day for Chet Lemon. All right, here's Cusick. He's back out to face Patek. And he's got a relief rating of 4, so he can finish the game no problem as long as he doesn't give up a whole lot of runs. 3-6, he gets him to pop to Soderholm. Third base, 1 away. Patek is gone. That brings up Frank White. White, 2-11 for White. It's a foul to the catcher, so he's going to foul to Downing. So 2 down for George Brett, top of the order. 3-7 for Brett, and that's dangerous. 1-11 is a triple. 12-20 is a single. That's an 8, so it is a triple for George Brett. A 2-out triple by George Brett. So that certainly puts a little bit of onus on this next at bat for Hal McRae. Cusick has to bear down. 5-9. Ground ball, shortstop X. Again, that's dangerous. Spanish was a 4E48. He's already made 2 errors. 4 and a 9. He will get to it, but we're checking the error. It's a 15. E48 at shortstop. A 15 is a 1-base error. So that would again allow a run. That's the 3rd error of the game on Bannister. 4th error of the game on the White Sox. Another unearned run. And Bob Lemon just shaking his head. Doesn't know what to do here, giving up all these fielding problems. Here's Pete Lecoq. 110. He'll ground to third, and that will end the inning. But another run comes in for the Royals. And it is now 9-4. So 9-4 going to the bottom of the 8th. Doug Bird back out. And again, he's got a relief rating of 3, so he's probably can finish the game. If not, they still have a couple of guys left over there, Larry Gura and Mark Littell, that can do it for him. But I think they'd like to have Bird finished out. Here's Soderholm, 1-8. He's going to fly to center. 1 down for Brian Downing. 5-8, that's a strikeout. So Bird gets the strikeout, 2 up, 2 down, and that brings up Ralph Garr. Speaking of triples, he's got a double and a triple in this game. 6-8 against a lefty. Struck him out. He just missed a chance for another triple, but 6-8 is a strikeout. And that's going to end the inning. So we go to the 9th. Still a 9-4 ball game. As the Royals are looking to put the Sox away and get that game back they lost yesterday, as they head into the doubleheader tomorrow. So Cusick back out. That's why we're sticking with 1 relief pitcher to save the bullpen for that doubleheader. All right, here's Cowens. 6-5 is a fly to right. So 1 down. Brings up John Mayberry. 1-9. Would have been a ballpark home run check, but instead in advanced, it's just a fly to left. Garr puts it away. 2 up, 2 down for AO, Amos Otis. Otis, my man. Stepping to the plate. 3-8 for Otis. He's going to pop to short. And by that time, Bannister did finally make the catch. But 3 errors by Bannister is really, it's really been the defense that has hurt the Sox. That's been the story of the game, that is the defense or lack thereof. But this one's a pop to short. Oh, that's already did that. I already wrote that in there, so good thing I got white out. I don't know why I kept writing. Okay. So a 0 there. So we can finish the book, close the book on Cusick. He pitched 3 innings. And he faced, let's see, there's been 36, 642. So he faced 12 batters. And he gave up 2 runs, 1 earned, 1 on the homer. And let's see how many hits he gave up. 1. Just the 1 hit. The home run was the only hit he gave up. Let's see. Walks and strikeouts. He struck out 1 and didn't walk anybody. All right, so we can finish up the Royals here. 9 runs on 9 hits. And the Sox made 4 errors. Amazing. All right, so Doug Bird looking to wrap things up here in this one. He'll be facing Bannister Orta and Zis, the heart of the order for the White Sox, but they are down 9-4. 3-6, and that's a 1-2 home run chance, so not very good. 3-20, flies to Callens. It's a 1, it's a home run. How about that? Alan Bannister beat the odds. Had the 10% chance, and it came up. So Bannister home run. Now it's the Dolly Parton 9-5 game. As George Orta comes up. 3-11, and that's a single to left field for George Orta. So the Royals really don't want to have to go to their bullpen again, but they may have to. They have Larry Gura loosening in the bullpen. It's Richie Zis. They also have Mark Littell loosening, so it depends on who they need. 6-6 for Bird is a fly to center. That's one away. That'll bring up Oscar Gamble. Struck out his first chance. 5-7. He's going to strike out again. So he struck out again. And now, down to our final result. Jim Spencer. There was a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So here's Spencer. 5-11. That's a home run chance. 1-11 is a 2-run homer for Spencer. 12-20, he flies to Callens. 18, he flies the deepest part of Comiskey, but Callens is there. Inning is over. The the White Sox do pick up a run on the homer by Bannister, but that's going to do it. Doug Bird is going to go 3 1/3 and get the save. The win will go to Splittor if the loss goes to Barrios. Let's see, batters face 36, 42, so that's 14. And how many hits did he give up? He gave up 3 hits and 1 run, which was the homer. He did hit a batter. Walks and strikeouts. He struck out 4. He struck out 4, didn't walk anybody. Total hits for the Sox, 10. All right, so let's check left on base for the Royals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total of 6 left on. And for the Sox, they left 3 on in the first. One here is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So not only bad fielding, but lost opportunities, leaving people on base. So there is your final, let's move these things out of the way. There is your final result here from Comiskey. It is Kansas City 9, Chicago 5, Dolly Parton game. For the Royals, 9 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, and 6 left. For the White Sox, 5 runs, 10 hits, 4 errors, and 10 left. So those last 2 columns tell the story. 4 errors and 10 left on base. So that was game 98. Like I said, game 99 will take place on game 99 and 100 will both take place on July 31st, as they have a doubleheader with the Royals that I'll play offline on the computer. And then we'll come back the first part of August, 1st of August. It'll be the Texas Rangers coming into town to take on the White Sox. And the Sox going to have to, they split the series so far, they're going to have to at least try to win one of those 2 games in the doubleheader. They'll love to sweep, but at least they can't afford to go down. So at a minimum, they got to split that doubleheader. So that's it from here. Hope you are enjoying your Monday. And hope you don't have too much of a Super Bowl hangover. Until next time. Enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.